Slammiversary weekend and Money in the Bank. That's what's happening. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm trying to get out of here to go to New Orleans, where I'm going to actually miss Slammiversary. I was actually really excited for this pay per view, and I'm going to have to watch it tomorrow probably. So, uh, you know, it is what it is. I'm going there for work, and but I will be watching Money in the Bank live tomorrow night, so I'm excited about that. Um, let's just quickly do a little lightning round of what's happened this week. Let's hit NXT. I missed NXT. What anything pop out for you there
Yeah,
besides Mandy Rose?
we got the first. Mandy Rose was edited out of the Hulu version,
Oh
so
wow.
clearly that's not important. Um, the We got the first of what will hopefully be many of the Cameron Grimes LA Knight videos. Cameron Grimes showed up for his first day of work late, and then tried to pay a small child to do all of the work for him. And then he pushed LA Knight into the pool. So we're undoubtedly getting another match, even though LA Knight's already got the 2 wins to none. I'm good with it as long as these videos continue. Uh,
I will. I will say I went out of my way. I didn't watch NXT, but I went out of my way to find whatever vignettes this was going to be this week. So I watched that. So yeah, that is definitely a highlight.
yeah, we got a stellar promo from Adam Cole. He is honestly, the Cole Baker household is producing the best promos in wrestling right now,
Yeah.
hands down. Um, so there's nothing else. I mean, there were some things involved. He called out Joe, um, which didn't lead to anything. Um, we did get a very good match. Johnny Gargano took on Karrion Kross for the title. Karrion Kross retained, and then Karrion Kross heavily provoked Samoa Joe,
Who was the
choking.
guest referee?
Yes, choking him
Yeah.
out to end the show. So Joe's going to be back in the ring almost immediately. I thought they
Yeah.
would string this out a little longer, but no. I got a feeling that our main event for SummerSlam Takeover is going to be Joe versus Karrion Kross, and then Karrion Kross will inevitably show up on SummerSlam the next night.
uh, well, that was cool. AEW, like I was trying to think. I really enjoy the show. The thing I always really like. I just love these New Japan IWGP US Championship matches. I like that they have a completely different feel to them. They have a different pace, and
Yeah,
I just like it, man. Moxley versus Machine Gun Carl Anderson. I
nope.
thought
And
was pretty.
it was a great match that they eliminated the worry that it was going to get all dusty with Gallows being out there. I mean,
Yeah.
Gallows and what the hell? I'm spacing on his name. Eddie
Now I
Kingston.
am too.
Gallows
Okay.
and
Yeah.
Eddie Kingston took themselves out of the picture like
Yeah.
immediately, and we just got a singles match, which
Yeah.
here lately that's a rarity when anybody from the elite is involved. So that was great. The match was wonderful. Moxley obviously retained, but yeah,
And then we got a challenge from the guy that never really got his rematch, Lance Archer, who Moxley took the IWGP US Championship off of. So next week we have a Texas Death Match, which was the same type of match they had when Moxley won it. So I don't know exactly what makes it Texas a part of the death match, but I guess we'll see.
they
Um,
shout racist epithets just throughout the match.
uh,
They just Jake the Snake stands outside the ring and chants "Build that wall" the whole time. That's what makes it
uh,
Texas. And then
uh,
everybody in the crowd goes home with COVID.
yeah. Yeah, that's great.
Um,
um,
that's going to be a good one. Honestly, I think it's a way to like effectively get the belt off Moxley, so he doesn't have to make these lengthy trips to Japan with a newborn at home. Um,
yeah.
so
I mean,
I'm good with it.
yeah. Um, but whatever it is, I'm slated to see him on August 14th, or I'm slated to go to New Japan show here in LA, and Moxley's on that picture, so I really want I really want him to actually be there too. But I wouldn't mind if Archer was there as well. Like if he gets added to that card, that would
Yeah.
not be bad either.
I mean,
Um,
that'll be like a 20-minute flight for Moxley to
yeah,
get there from his house. So I'm sure he'll be there with or without the belt.
yeah. Um, and another thing, man, just that the Hangman Omega storyline is just going on all cylinders, and now we're going to get in the future we're getting a 5 versus 5, basically a Survivor Series match, elimination style match with the Elite with Adam Page and the Dark Order. And if Adam Page and the Dark Order win, they get their title shots at the Elite, and if they lose, they don't get to challenge while they're holding the championships. And I think that's a good thing. I mean, I feel like it's got to go for that obvious feel good finish. But who knows? Who knows? But uh, I'm excited because it's rumored. It's rumored that might happen at the show that you're going to here pretty soon in Charlotte at Fight for the Fallen. So because I think the second night of Fighter Fest is already just jam packed, and you really need a good. I don't know. You at least need 45 minutes, I think, to do a 5v5 elimination match right, especially one with a big story at play. You can't just cram it into like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So
Plus, any group taking on the Elite kind of lends itself to the fight for the fallen
yeah,
vibe. Plus, they want to make sure that an hour of every show I go to is committed to just one match.
yeah,
So at least I won't have to watch the first hour on the Tron this time.
yeah.
Um,
I,
yeah,
I would.
go
I
ahead.
wish it was kind of the Dark Order, Hangman, and just Kaz thrown in for a good measure. Because I mean, or if they try to start anything else, like as long as Kaz is around, I really like this Elite Hunter gimmick. I think it's working really well for him. So I like to see more of it.
Yeah, I'd honestly be on board for them pulling in. I mean, it's not like they don't have the deepest roster in the world here. Um, some of the underused guys actually build like an elite hunter squad. I
Yeah,
mean, Kip Sabian just sort of disappeared. Um, I mean, you got to the varsity blondes would be great just because they're sort of those on the cusp guys that should be hunting the young bucks anyways.
yeah,
Um, I mean, you could build a great team for Kaz to kind of lead, since
yeah.
all of AEW is that you've got to be faction affiliated, otherwise you don't get on TV.
I
Um,
mean, it's the Attitude Era once again.
yeah,
Both WWF and WCW, like they were all filled with factions, and I'm pretty sure that's what TK liked, and we're bringing it back. We're just not without all the misogyny this time. So
I do. Since we're getting towards the end of Dynamite, I want to point out how fucking amazing Ethan Page got to look, even in a loss. Um,
yeah,
like that match was stellar. We already knew Darby was awesome, but I think everybody finally got to see Ethan Page just do Ethan Page's damn thing, and that was cool as shit. And that
yeah.
coffin drop through the coffin was amazing.
Yeah, my thought was that Darby was actually going to eat the loss, and they were going to give Ethan the thing. But I agree with you. Like Ethan still looked great in that loss. But I thought what was going to happen is is Ethan was going to trick Darby into coffin dropping into the coffin and then close the close the coffin to win the match. Which so I'm glad we at least got some kind of payoff of a coffin drop onto a coffin. But it just didn't work out exactly how I thought.
Yeah, honestly, I think at this point, the reason that I'm so hesitant to go ahead and let Hangman and the Dark Order get that win um, is that would kind of shoehorn the Dark Order into a tag title match, and I would much rather see the douchebag Young Bucks against the douchebag Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky team, just to see who looks the most ridiculous each week coming to the ring. Um, I kind of want to see them get a nudge a little bit. I know Scorpio Sky's already held that belt, um,
Yeah.
but let's give it to him again. Those guys are awesome.
Yeah. Um, and was there anything on? Did you watch Raw at all? Was anything decent
Um,
in there?
Bobby Lashley, I'm not going to lie to you. Bobby Lashley is slowly becoming the Roman Reigns of Raw. He is a reason to turn the show on each week. Um, he ate a loss to Xavier Woods. I'm pretty sure it was a roll up to open the show, and then he came back out at the end and just destroyed the MVP lounge and was like, "I'm tired of all your stupid bullshit games. I'm here to whoop people's ass, and that's what I'm doing from now on." And just like ended the show looking like he was going to kill MVP, and I was all for it.
Wow.
He's amazing. More of the same this week. Just they were still in the Thunderdome for Raw, so it was kind of repeat singles matches with the Money in the Bank competitors. Standout match: John Morrison and Ricochet. Again, I think this was the rubber. I think they've had this match 3 times now. But
This is actually
holy,
the 548th time. You just become numb to it.
it was a no DQ match this time, and
Yeah.
they took full advantage of it. Ladders were involved. There were some gnarly ass bumps. At one point, John Morrison hit this just wicked neck breaker off the side of the ring with Ricochet kind of up through the second rope and brought him down on the apron, the hardest part of the ring. Oh my god, it looked awful. And so those guys are great. Either one of them could win the briefcase. I'd be completely on board. I'm starting to think it's going to be Big E, but that could just be wishful thinking. So, but yeah, that was
Well,
pretty much Raw. I don't recall anything stand out from the women's division, but again, just kind of spinning the wheels to get us to Money in the Bank.
I watched SmackDown. That was interesting. I enjoyed it. I forgot they shoot with some kind of like different cameras than normal, and they're like they got that like extra like high frame rate or something like that. It
Yeah, they
looks
use those
strange,
480
man.
motion rate cameras
Yeah,
that they use for the NFL, so you don't miss any of the like big hits and stuff. It gives me a headache sometimes watching them come to the ring on that camera because
yeah,
everything's moving so slow. Like the camera can't seem to figure out what the fuck's going on.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean the presentation's beautiful when they're actually wrestling, but there's a lot of the slower moments in the show that like it's a little much.
I will say one thing. It is nice to like. It was nice to put it on as like, oh, this looks different than everything else, at least.
Yeah.
And before COVID, did they always have that gigantic like entrance screen? I don't know if you've seen the clips of it, maybe not, but like there's just one giant screen with a little like smaller screen size door that they walk through now. It's in the middle.
I
It
think
was like a ginormous screen. Yeah.
that may have been part of the. They said they were redoing everything, like on
Mm,
all brands. Everything was going to be redone when crowds came back. So that may have been just a tweak for this because
yeah.
I sort of remember it being just like Raw. That way they didn't have to break anything down and put anything else back up.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm pretty sure that was new for last night. I don't know because again, Hulu just like flips a coin periodically throughout the weekend and decides when to put the episode up.
Yeah. As far as anything that happens, it was good. Vince McMahon opened the show just pretty understated. Like, where the hell were you? It was good. I enjoyed it. Finn Balor is back on SmackDown, which kind of makes sense. He interrupted Sami Zayn. I got to see Baron Corbin do his thing. I agree. I think that's pretty good.
You're on
Um,
board, right?
yeah, I'm
Like they
bored
found a
bored with
way
it.
to make the most boring guy on the show like somehow interesting. And I've got to give a lot of credit to whoever's running creative for SmackDown because I didn't think they could pull it off.
Yeah, I think he's really good, and this is the case. What I think with some of the talent, just in general with wrestling, I think a lot of wrestlers could benefit from just taking like a month of acting classes because, like, I still feel like Baron and most wrestlers like they there's few people that get to the point of Flair. Flair was so successful because he disappeared into that character and he unfortunately also became that character, which is like bad. So you want to be able to turn it on, but you want to be able to get to that level, but not necessarily get to Flair's destructive part of it. But um I want to believe everything, and like Corbin, I like 90% believe, but I know he's like there's a level where he's like I'm doing an act and stuff. So, um, but
Yeah, he goes home to his like $1.5 million house
yeah.
and his $200,000 Mercedes SUV, and he's like, "All right, cool, let's cook a filet mignon."
Fun fact: he lives in Undertaker's old house in Tampa because Undertaker's a tall guy, and so it was a custom built house, and all the doorways are taller. So he's just like, hell yeah, I'm gonna buy this house that Undertaker built because I don't have to like I can just fit through all the doorways and everything is like my size. So kind of worked out for him.
It's
I
kind of
don't think there
cool.
was anything that really impacted this weekend. Really, I think there was a fatal
There's,
4-way match that I forgot how to win or
I
forgot
did
who won.
I, I did read the recap just to be ready for the podcast. Um, Edge touched the belt, so Edge ain't winning this weekend. It is the one rule in wrestling: do not pick up the belt if it's not yours.
Well,
So
that and the
there's no
rule that
way in
if
hell.
that and the rule if you're in your hometown or if it's your birthday, you're also losing. So, um,
I guess he gets the benefit of not doing the show in Canada Sunday
yeah.
night, but
Uh, yeah, but otherwise, I thought it was good. Let's see if there's anything else. Finn Balor being back and Rollins. Oh, Rollins won that fatal 4-way and stuff. So, yeah, it'll be good. They teased
yeah,
him
he
winning it again.
he touched the briefcase, so that puts him out too.
uh, let's actually just jump straight in, because we're talking about SmackDown. Let's just jump straight into Money in the Bank. We'll do that first, and then we'll just blindly pick our Slammiversary winners and surprises. We're going to start off with the Usos versus the Mysterios. I'm going to just go with the Usos, despite the DUI, recent DUI. I don't know.
I'm I'm gonna go with the Mysterios, even though I hate picking anything that Dominic has anything to do with, um, solely because they put it on the kickoff show. Uh, I the thought that a title will change hands on a just a random pay per views kickoff show uh, is as much work as the Usos have put in these 70 weeks or whatever it is. Just sounds ridiculous. Um, I mean, honestly, there's best I can remember. There's kind of some shit on this card that you could have bumped to
Yeah.
the to the kickoff show. Uh, I think it ends dirty somehow, and they get their title shot at SummerSlam,
Yeah.
like in a big time match. And SummerSlam is kind of going to be the now the family runs the damn show. And
Yeah.
I'm good with it, but yeah, I don't see that title changing hands on the kickoff show.
And this warm up, this match, this pay per view, it feels like a first kind of real pay per view back with like full crowd and all that. But with SummerSlam being in that big stadium, it's a warm up. Really, this show is a warm up, and
Yeah.
I think that's probably why we got some matches that you know whatever. But SummerSlam is really going to matter. They always try to make SummerSlam like the second to WrestleMania and stuff, but in reality, it's like it's towards the bottom of the big four because you've got the gimmicks of the other ones like Royal Rumble and stuff. It's just not as entertaining, I think.
You know,
Um,
the other weird thing to me is rather than move the Raw tag team match to the kickoff show so that SmackDown had another match on the card, there are 4 Raw matches on this card. Uh, the Roman Reigns Edge match is the only SmackDown match
hmm. I
on the
mean,
main
is it
card.
possibly? I mean, is it possible that also the on were they on Monday? Is the question. Are
I
they
think
also in?
yeah, they're still in Texas somewhere. There's no way they're gonna
I
move
mean,
on that quick.
yeah, there's not many places they can go, so that's that's the other thing. Let's the next in the list. Who knows where it's going to be on the card? But we've got the Money in the Bank ladder match, the women's edition. I don't know why I read it like that, but so who we got in here? We got Zelina Vega, We got Alexa Bliss. Yeah, Natty was added to it. Do we still have someone that's not? We don't have a.
I think Tamina has been added, so I think
Okay,
we've got a full 8 now.
okay, because it sounded to me like they were gonna do a surprise on the
I think
last entrant, but I guess they filled it.
I think they were trying to tease that uh, Sonya Deville was going to take that last spot, but
Mm.
yeah, according to this CBS card that I pulled up that was posted, about noon yesterday, Tamina is on this. So
Okay. Um. Well, I mean, there you go. I guess. uh. So who else we got? We got Liv Morgan. Um.
almost a superhero, Nikki Cross.
Oh
Uh,
yes.
I
Okay,
love
that's
her Hurricane Light.
I don't think it makes any sense for her to win really, but I'm just gonna pick her because that's what I want.
I'm taking Liv Morgan. I think I'm gonna both Money in the Bank matches are gonna be SmackDown wrestlers, and that's gonna explain why the rest of the matches are Raw on the card. So I'm taking Liv Morgan. She's actually had
All
some
right.
story brewing here lately where she gets kind of it's almost like a Sami Zayn thing without going to the full blown conspiracy level. Um,
Um,
so I'm going Liv Morgan.
all right.
Unless of course a giant lily doll appears in the ring and pulls the briefcase down and hands it to Alexa.
uh, oh man. Well, let's just do men's Money in the Bank ladder match. The what I have pulled up doesn't actually list the people in a good order. So who do you got? Who do we got in here?
We have representing Raw will be Ricochet, John Morrison, Riddle, and Drew McIntyre. The SmackDown side is Big E, Kevin Owens, King Nakamura, and Seth Rollins.
Um, I think I want Big E. I have a feeling it could be Drew McIntyre, and we just get another failed championship match. But I would like it to be Big E. I would like Big E to go for that that heavyweight or universal championship.
I I'm gonna pick Matt Riddle. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Big E. Um, Drew can't cash in if Bobby Lashley still has the belt. And there's no way he's switching brands because who the hell are they going to put on Raw to replace him?
Yeah.
Um, I'm going to take Matt Riddle though. I think Matt Riddle, Randy Orton might have something to do with it, um, but I'm going to take Matt Riddle here.
All right. Well, yeah, I think it'll be good, especially with Ricochet and Morrison and some of these other guys that are in this match. It's and Owens kills himself anytime there's a ladder involved, which I'm a little worried about. But what do you got?
My subconscious just reminded me why I think Matt Riddle wins. Um, Rumor has it SummerSlam will be Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg. Now, who started an online feud with Goldberg not too long ago?
Oh God. Oh man. So Goldberg takes the belt off Lashley,
It's going to be
and then
the
Riddle's music
weirdest,
hits.
the absolute weirdest long form storytelling ever to put the belt on Matt Riddle, but that's where we're at.
If that's the result of the end, if like Goldberg wins, I want to hear Riddle Ling, and if someone else wins the if someone else wins the Money in the Bank ladder match, I want there to be that match for the Money in the Bank ladder or the briefcase, like they got it off of Otis. Like, just do that so we can get have that thing. Um, that's what I want. I don't want Goldberg Bobby Lashley, despite how good you say he is. But I don't want Goldberg in there again. Um, my favorite Goldberg match that I've seen was most definitely at Survivor Series when he just beat Brock Lesnar in like 30 seconds. So, um, Bobby Lashley versus Kofi Kingston. I, I hope it's a good match, but Bobby's retaining, right? Like,
Yeah,
there's no
yeah.
way. There's no way that's not happening.
Now, Bobby put the work in during the Thunderdome era. He
Yeah.
deserves to get a big win in front of people, and I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a good match. Could like hell, it may very well be the best match on this card by the end of it, just based on the show they've been putting on here lately. But yeah, there's no way they pull it off Bobby Lashley before we get to SummerSlam.
And I was about to say, oh, we're about to the main event of the card, but then I realized I just totally skipped over two matches. Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. I don't know, man. Becky Lynch.
I'm
So
not. I'm not gonna lie. As awesome as both of them are, the booking here lately has been so bad that I don't give a shit. Um,
yeah.
like the when they both came out with fake crutches a couple of weeks ago, and and then got into like a crutch duel. Like I don't give a shit. I I I like the idea of the crowd going ape shit bananas booing when Charlotte inevitably wins, but um, I don't see it happening. I'm probably gonna. Well, we are a month from SummerSlam, so being able to bill her going into SummerSlam as the champ, I think maybe we do put the belt back on Charlotte at this point.
Yeah, maybe. And if that's the case, I do feel like Becky shows up and makes an obvious challenge. I think this, unlike most months where it seems like WWE is just kind of making it up as they go, I do feel like they're going to do a real solid effort on building that SummerSlam card
Yeah,
tomorrow night. So I do feel like Becky maybe shows up to, at least, kind of that end thing where she shows up at the top of the ramp at the end of it, and to make it known that she's coming back. I think that'll be
yeah.
pretty good, I guess. And then we have AJ Styles and Omos versus the Viking Raiders. Um, sure, AJ, yeah, I
I
guess AJ and Omos. I don't know.
I I'd like to hope that they see that this thing is weird and AJ doesn't need it. Um, I'm gonna go Viking Raiders because they're the two guys that I think are big enough to actually like double suplex Omos and like get the pin on Omos.
uh
Um, so I'm gonna go Viking Raiders. I'm gonna take an upset here.
All right. I like that
And
we don't always just pick the same things. That's
yeah,
good. And then
but
it
then
brings us to
I also like I texted you earlier with Davy Boy Jr. coming back. I think they need to bring back a bunch of titles and give more of the show more meaning.
yeah.
I like the idea of AJ splitting out of this tag team and there being I don't I remember and I miss the European belt mostly because I miss D'Lo Brown having it. But
Yeah.
I mean AJ versus Davy Boy. Put the European belt on somebody. I want the hardcore belt back instead of this 24/7 shit where they jump out of Old Spice displays. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much that they could bring back. I also as factions become a thing again. I like the idea of getting a 6-man belt on this show somehow. So
I mean, it makes sense. Like we were just talking earlier about AEW having that IWGP US Championship match, really kind of brings that extra thing. And finally, we got I totally forgot, but we got that FTW championship defense, and it changed hands to Absolute Ricky Starks, with some shenanigans from Hook and Will Hobbs wearing a overalls, which there were some interesting fashion choices in AEW this week, which I enjoyed. I thought were great. But yeah. And how did we get Brock Anderson debuting and we still don't have Hook? Like the internet community loves Hook and they want to
yeah,
see him wrestle. So how I don't know how we got to that point, but we have Roman Reigns versus Edge. Um, and I think, like you said, Edge touched the belt. I don't think he's winning. I don't think this is a situation where a part timer comes in and he's winning the belt. That's only reserved for like Brock Lesnar and Goldberg, I guess. So yeah, Roman Reigns retains, and also just Roman Reigns gets killing it. Old Roman Reigns, sure, Edge would have won this belt off of him.
Oh yeah, or
Yeah, like
hell, he would have won it at WrestleMania.
yeah,
Uh, but yeah, no, I'm with you that this bloodline story is going to run probably until April, and I'm all for it, with or without The Rock being able to commit to something. Just let them run this fucking show for the next 6 months.
and now we are going to preview tonight's show with Slammiversary. We're going to take some random guesses on what's going to happen because we don't really follow it too much. Let's start off with Brian Myers and Tennille Dashwood. So Tennille Dashwood this week on Impact, just low below Matt Cardona. And if you don't follow the personal lives of these wrestlers, Tennille Dashwood is Matt Cardona's ex-girlfriend from a few years ago at this point. So Matt Cardona is going to have a mixed tag match against those two with a surprise partner.
There's no shock coming here. They all but said hot mess on the damn broadcast.
It'd be amazing if it's like Peyton Royce for some reason. And then later in the show, we have Deanna Purrazzo defending her Knockouts championship against a mystery opponent, and then for some reason we get Chelsea Green there. Like, why don't if we just switch it up? That would be kind of crazy. I'm thinking if Chelsea Green does show up, like I think she should show up, I think Matt Cardona and her definitely winning, right? Like, I think that seems to be working out.
At this point, I don't know how anybody can beat Matt Cardona. He survived Nick Gage. And that in and of itself makes you indestructible. So yeah, I'm going with Matt Cardona and anybody. He could pull the kid that won the tag title with Braun Strowman a couple of years ago out of the crowd and win this match. I'm okay. He survived a death match with Gage. Yeah, I'm good with it. He can beat anybody.
Which is probably one of the weirdest internet wrestling stories this year, was just that feud. But I'm here for it, sure. We got W. Morrissey, the former I forget what he used to be.
Big Cass,
yeah. Versus Eddie Edwards.
And he's 7 feet tall.
Actually 6'8". I think Morrissey's gonna win. I think for everything I'm hearing is he's been killing it. Eddie Edwards is good, sure, but I don't know.
Yeah, it is so hard to watch Impact on Twitch if you don't watch it live. I've tried 3 different times to find the episode through their Twitch stream. They basically just post a full day as a single video. I don't have time to fast forward 17 hours worth of shit to get to your 2-hour TV show. But when I do catch it, they seem to be pushing Morrissey like he's going to be their top guy here before much longer. So I'm pretty sure this one's in the bag.
We have Moose versus Chris Sabin. I like Moose. I like Chris Sabin, but I'm going to go with Chris Sabin only because the weird old man at the Ring of Honor show wanted me to give a poem to Chris Sabin if he came close enough to me, because we were sitting in the second row, because he had to move because he was tired of all the cameras getting in the way at the TV taping of his view. So he moved to a higher up seat. He was really pissed. It was the weirdest experience I've had at a wrestling show. This old man that was dressed like he came from the future in Back to the Future 2, Part 2. He was wearing some reflective thing. Anyway,
you gave Chris Sabin poetry from Biff Tannen.
Basically.
Nice.
So I'm going to go Chris Sabin just because of that weird old man. You got my vote. But Moose, I feel like he should have gotten a little bigger stage for that Kenny Omega match, which they ended up having at Daly's Place, which that kind of seemed to say that Omega was retaining. I don't know. I kind of want to. I feel like Moose deserves better, but than his current spot, I guess.
Yeah, I'm with
So,
you there. I'm going Moose here because I feel like he got really sort of fucked over with that
hmm.
Kenny Omega match. I like the idea of Moose getting a win as kind of a, sorry about that. Um, Plus, you got to build these top guys because Kenny Omega's working hurt as it is. He can't hold this belt forever. Um, so you gotta keep enough people in the pipeline to keep your show interesting once Omega
Yeah,
has to drop it.
yeah. We got tag team championship, knockouts tag team championship. We got Kira Hogan and Tasha Steeles versus Rosemary and Havoc. I love Rosemary, so there's no way I'm going to like vote against her. I remember seeing Fire and Flava, the team of Hogan and Steeles, and I do remember being impressed by them at that pay per view we watched a few months ago. But Rosemary, I love her whole deal, her whole thing, and I mean Havoc is cool too, but I guess Havoc has become like a full member of Rosemary's faction, kind of like evil-ish faction Decay. So I don't know. Yeah, that's what I got. Do you have
Um,
any differing opinions here?
is Rosemary the one we saw at the CVS in Las Vegas?
I think so.
Not in New Orleans. I think so. All right, I'll go Havoc and
Yeah,
Rosemary.
that would make more sense. Yeah. um, let's move it on. World Tag Team Championship: Violent by Design versus Good Brothers versus Rich Swann and Willie Mack versus TJP and Falaba. Falaba. Uh, Violent by Design is Eric Young, and I forget who the other person is.
Rhino,
Oh,
Joe
okay.
Deering, and some guy named Diener.
Oh, okay. So I don't know who's going to be in this match. Then I don't know if have they announced who's going to be in it.
It,
Anyway, they're the champions,
yeah, they
so
free
they're
bird rule it.
yeah. So we'll get some kind of combination of that. Um, I don't I don't think it's going to be the Good Brothers. I don't know. You
I
got any any picks here?
They inexplicably picked up Rich Swann and pushed him to the top of the damn card like almost immediately after his domestic violence issues. Um, I'm going to go with Rich Swann and Willie Mack here since Impact has no sense of self.
I love Willie Mack. I've seen Willie Mack a bunch here in LA, and he's really cool. He's really good, big man. Um, so I like to see that guy succeed. So yeah,
If I
uh,
knew who the hell TJP's partner was, I might have gone that route, but
TJP just bores me, man. I
oh,
mean,
he
I think
does.
he's a good wrestler, but he bores me,
Yeah, he's like the biggest douchebag.
and
But
he's real dumb on Twitter too. So yeah. Um, X Division Championship Ultimate X match. I'm kind of excited to see this match. This is beyond the championship match, the Omega versus Callahan. This match is what I'm most looking forward to. We have Josh Alexander defending versus Trey Miguel, Ace Austin, Chris Bay, Rohit Raju, and Petey Williams. Hot Sauce is it? No, Hot Sauce is Tracy Williams. Um, uh, I don't know who's going to win this match, but it's going to be insane. It could be the most insane match we watch this weekend. And I do think that Money in the Bank match we're going to watch, the men's Money in the Bank, is going to be particularly insane, just because of the Ricochet and all those guys involved. But I'm excited because I've only seen clips of this Ultimate X match, and I've never actually watched a full one. So I'd like to see what happens here. I know Trey Miguel can bring it. Chris Bay can bring it, and Josh Alexander can. I don't know so much about these other guys, but I'm excited to see it happen.
you
So
got a blind pick?
blind pick. I will go Trey Miguel. He was my, he was part of the Rascals. He was always my favorite part of the Rascals, and even though it was mainly the guys now that are MSK. But Trey Miguel was actually my favorite, so I'm going to go with him.
I'm gonna take Ace Austin solely for alliteration.
All right. Well, we got Deanna Perrazzo versus mystery opponent. we kind of talked about this a little bit before. Do you got any idea if this mystery opponent could be?
Who
I don't
was
think
the
it's
who was the biggest woman that got released?
the biggest woman.
Like the top draw woman that people were actually kind of shocked about. Can you think of one? Like outside of the Iconics, I can't think of it, and they're undoubtedly going
Oh,
to be brought in somewhere as a tag team.
I don't know why I thought biggest woman as in like physically biggest woman.
Oh no, no,
uh, because I was just like, it was like, was there someone that was really huge that got released?
no! Dana Brooke
Dude,
keeps her job no matter what happens.
yeah, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know because I don't see, I don't see one of the Iconics making it in, as the opponent, and the other one, I think they're coming back as a tag team. They're doing a
Yeah,
podcast together. Like,
because
I think
this
that's, you buy them as a package.
it's a big spot on their card for the Iconics. I mean, yeah, they're going to get a pop, but like I feel like you need a little more than that for like your top women's belt.
Becky
Um,
Lynch, that's who it's going to be.
she
We
can't.
find out
She's like
Forbidden Door.
she's the highest paid person in WWE secretly. She's getting like
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar money at this point. Um, I'm going to throw out a wacky one.
Yeah, let's
I'm
do it because I have no idea.
I'm going to pick Nikki Bella.
Okay. All right.
I think the Bellas go elsewhere because DB's going somewhere else. They might as well, work shows with the Forbidden Door so that they can, be together more often.
Yeah.
I'm going Nikki Bella here.
All right. Let's do it. That's what I'm going to do. Now, if Nikki Bella shows up, does she take that championship off of Deonna Purrazzo?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I think she's as weird as it is to say. I think she is enough of a draw that I could see that happening and them trying to you know really market the women's division.
And then finally, we got Kenny Omega versus Sami Callihan in a no DQ match. So I do hope with this no DQ. I mean, I know it's the Death Machine, right? But he Callahan better bring some guys to, I guess, equal the score against Omega's probable like tricks of the Good Brothers, and I don't know, maybe even the Elite. I don't know. We'll see who shows up, but there's no way that Omega's not going to bring a whole bunch of stuff. But I think Callahan asked for this match because for it to be a no DQ, so it didn't just get thrown out because of disqualification from those guys showing up and messing it up. So no dusty finishes here, at least in the sake of, oh, there's a DQ, so the belt doesn't change hands. Do you think this is time for Omega to lose his championship? I think it would be cracks in the armor going into the Hangman Omega match at presumably All Out. So I think it would be a good thing. I wouldn't necessarily pick Sami Callihan to be the guy that takes it from Omega, but I think him losing this belt before he goes up against Omega would be a good choice. I just don't know where you do it beyond Slammiversary. I mean, their biggest show of the year. So Callahan's not necessarily my pick who I would pick to win it, but in this case I am going to pick Sami Callihan to walk away with this belt.
I'm gonna go with Omega. Um, I don't think this needs to be the first domino in him losing all the belts. Um, Honestly, I think that the story would be better. Kind of based on the way they wrote Hangman. If Hangman takes the belt from Omega and that's the first domino that topples on Kenny Omega's like slow road to rock bottom, I think the story would be a lot more fun to watch. Plus, what company wants to put Sami Callihan as their top guy? Like the fact that he's in this spot as it is weird to me. Um, I mean, I get it. Your Impact. You're kind of the dirty wrestling, um, but it's just a weird thing. Um, the only hitch in my like the way I see everything playing out is that I don't know that Omega walks out of the big AAA show with that belt.
Uh,
Um, Mostly just because at some point they're going to want to get that on a Latino star, um, rather than having a white guy walk around with it for too long.
yeah.
Sorry, a Canadian walk around with it for too long. Um, but yeah, I'm going to go Omega. I think that all of the elite shit, half the Bullet Club may fly over for this one and just completely destroy Sammy Callahan.
Oh man. Well, I think that leads us to the end of the card. We'll see what up. Any other like big appearances from people? Like just a
They
it is Slammiversary, so like that's beyond the two matches we talked about. Nikki Bella would be huge. I think that would get them a lot of things if that happened. But in that same thing, if Daniel Bryan showed up, would that be crazy?
I think that there's got to be something big here, outside of the Chelsea Green and whatever lady. I still think Nikki Bella's the best choice here. Um, but um, didn't they release? Did Kyrie Sane get released?
Um,
She
she
could she could be
she
a
kind
good
of
one.
like kind of just let her contract expire and just like she's kind of semi-retired. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you do have a big time name show up at the end of this show. Um, if we're gonna get Hangman and Omega at All Out, I think you need a big time draw, to take this belt off Kenny Omega. At they do a bigger show like November, December, don't they?
Yeah, I forget which one it is, but yeah, they have one, or it might be like October-ish. Um,
Do they do Bound for Glory?
Bound for
Is that
Glory. Yeah,
the end of
yeah,
the year? Yeah,
yeah,
I could see Daniel Bryan showing up here, being the guy that's going to take the belt from Omega down the road a little ways. Because then I mean, the forbidden door is open wide, so he can go wherever the hell he wants to,
yeah.
except for back to the E and take the belt from Roman.
uh, which would be amazing if that's how somehow like we get this match here tonight on Saturday, and all of a sudden like Kenny Omega is a extra competitor in the Money in Bank ladder match.
Yeah,
Uh,
let's just Forbidden Door has been kicked down.
yeah.
They just start showing Roman Reigns somehow becomes the Ring of Honor champion.
uh,
It should be
uh,
fucking cool, but
yeah. Not while Vince McMahon is alive.
no,
That's
not
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 happening.
his top guy. Anybody else, he'd probably find a way to make
Yeah.
it work. Not his top dude.
I don't know if you know this, but back in the day, like in order to get some Christian initially went to Impact back in the day because they made a deal to get, I forget who it was, but to get some people into the Hall of Fame. I think it might have been Flair, uh, who was contracted for Impact at the time. They made like a kind of a trade to make it happen. So like Vince has done some kind of deals with Impact in the past to get what he wants, but I don't see anyone having anything that he wants over there at the moment. So,
No.
um, well, enjoy watching the shows if you're watching it. I'm sure at least the people listening here are probably watching Money in the Bank, but Slammiversary, we'll catch you up on that, which should be a good show. And how about you close us out because I can't do it.
Don't forget, like and subscribe on whatever platform you're watching us on, be it YouTube for the video because you just like looking at us, or if you're listening to the podcast on what are there 4 trillion different podcast platforms now.
Yeah.
I don't even know where all this damn thing gets posted. Like bookmark the website. Um, Hell, I don't know. Just whatever ring the bell tip the tip the
Yeah.
cow, whatever you're supposed to do now.
Tip
Like
your
and subscribe.
bartenders.
If we can
Drive
get
safe.
this thing to like 50 subscribers by the new year, I'll be happy. So just like and subscribe if you can hear my voice and you've waited around for 50 minutes to hear this.
All right, man. Well, take it easy, and we'll come back to you soon.